And welcome to Hump Day, Wednesday, on the Fun Astrology Podcast. Thomas Miller back with you with just a couple of quick updates. So this week we've talked about kind of the global macro thing, right? We're not going to do that anymore for a while because that's just, it is what it is. And you know, that revelation yesterday that, look, we are in the long game in Capricorn. We're in the long game with Neptune in Pisces, and we're in the long game with Uranus in Taurus. We're basically just chasing the fast movers around the chart. In other words, the nuances that we've had by a more spread out chart that we had for the past year, we're not going to have for a while. But we do have one very interesting observation, and this is, let's get in the observer mode, right? And let's just watch, wait, see, and observe. Because Saturn is now in 29 degrees Capricorn. There are a lot of philosophies about this, and Steve Forrest, the guy that I'm narrating the audiobook for, almost finished with the Book of Earth. I'm so excited. And we'll be letting you know about all of that, including the podcast interview that I did with him when all of that comes out, and it will be soon. But Steve projects 29-degree planets into the next sign. So like on his Sky Within report, and by the way, I haven't mentioned that very much, but if you go to soulfoodtalks.com and look in the astrology shop, there is a report in there called the Sky Within. And that's a Steve Forrest computer-generated report. And it's written in his style of prose. It's really fun, and it's a great little astrological report. And I got it in there for just a few bucks if you want to pick one up. I run them manually, so I will email it to you when I get your order, and I will send it out very quickly. I stay on top of that. So Steve moves planets at 29 degrees into the next sign on that report, because I've had people generate that report, and they say, wait a minute, my sun is in Gemini. And I even ended up emailing the developers of that program saying, wait a minute, the software is wrong. The software is wrong. And they looked at it for about 2 weeks before they came back and said, no, Steve wants it that way. 29 degrees Saturn in Capricorn. Does this mean that we might start to take the foot off the throat of Saturn-Pluto a little bit? I don't think so, and here's why. By degrees, the two planets are still very much conjunct, and they are very slow movers. So Saturn can't run away fast enough. In other words, Pluto is at 24 degrees Capricorn, Saturn now 29. So we're really in the countdown that will be over the next 10 days, and then Saturn moves into Aquarius officially, but it will still be by degree, 6 degrees then removed from Pluto. Getting a little bit farther away, but at least it's moving in a separated direction. So I know many of you are interested in developing your astrological awareness. Just let's all observe together what 29 degrees Saturn in Capricorn looks like. Now, let's follow another subtlety in this chart, and that is the moon in Libra is square to Jupiter in Capricorn and Pluto in Capricorn. So there has been a lot of discussion about Jupiter's contribution to all of this chaos by being in Capricorn. And I'm just saying what you can do with that for your own historical observation is just go back from 2019, go back 12-year chunks. So 2007, 1995, 1983, 1971. If you want to do some quick historical observations, Jupiter is in there for a year. So basically take all of those years and just look around and see if you see patterns, observations, notes, comments about Jupiter being in Capricorn. The other thing you can do to play with that is to find Capricorn in your chart, what house is it in, and see what happened, and then what other planets are there, what aspects does it make, and start to weave that picture together of how did Jupiter in Capricorn affect you. Now, Jupiter went into Capricorn this year, it was last year, in November, December. So let's say December 1st. I'm not going back to find the exact date, but around then. So it's kind of or late November. So late November, and then it goes for a year. So including the macro, you can think of what's been happening to you in the micro, what's been happening to you in your life since November. That's the effect that you've been having of Jupiter in Capricorn, among the many other variables of this stacked up energy in Capricorn. But for today, the moon is square to Jupiter and Pluto, not Saturn. Saturn's too far away. But as we peruse the headlines today and see any triggers of anything substantial, there you go. I mean, it could be related to the financial markets again. It could be related to the virus. At least that Libran moon is balanced. I mean, that's a good thing. And that is we will take every bit of that. But if there are some triggers that that Jupiter or Pluto are holding in, the moon could come across and shake those things loose with this square. Now, the other thing that I would just remind us all of is let's play our crazy money moon manifesting March Madness game. There are no real aspects to help us with it right now, but we will have a moon trine coming up here pretty soon. It is going to be from Capricorn. So as I've said, I don't know how much the other noise in Capricorn is going to affect that. But really, I think technically the moon's trine should stand on its own two legs. So that will be early next week, and we'll talk about it in advance of when it gets here so that we can be sure to catch that. But just make your crazy list. And then I would say one of the things that you could do today to add some action to that is, to take steps. Take that list and just ask internally, ask that still small voice inside, or just ask the universe for synchronicities of steps that you can take toward the fulfillment of one of those. And then most importantly, take it. Take the step. Do the work. All right, we'll come back tomorrow and pick this nuanced chart apart some more. Have a good day. Bye-bye.